The Vietnam War continues to have a significant impact on pop culture today. With its televised coverage, people worldwide were able to witness and express their views on the war. Many films were made in response, capturing different perspectives on the war and its effects. Even in 2020, the lasting trauma and influence of the war persist. Stacker has compiled a list of the top 50 movies about the Vietnam War, ranked by IMDb user ratings. These films explore various aspects of the conflict and its aftermath. Let's count down from 50 to discover the best movies about the Vietnam War. In the 1983 film, Streamers, directed by Robert Altman, four young recruits in the Vietnam War await their assignments. Tensions rise as issues of race, class, and sexuality surface during this period of uncertainty. The movie delves into the complex emotions and prejudices harbored by these soldiers, highlighting the challenges they face in fighting for their country. Lieutenant Colonel Iceal Hambleton, shot down in Vietnam, must rely on a lone pilot to escape enemy territory. Based on true events, #Bat*21 explores the horrors of war in its final days. IMDb, 6.5, Metascore, 58. Runtime, 105 minutes. Director, Peter Markle. For Black Vietnam vets return to Vietnam to retrieve the remains of their squad leader and find hidden treasure. The mission becomes dangerous as tensions rise and past traumas resurface. A powerful film exploring the lasting effects of war. 198 characters. Hamburger Hill, 1987, directed by John Irvin, takes us on a gripping journey as an infantry squad battles to capture a strategic hill during the Vietnam War. This intense and thought-provoking film explores the psychological toll the war takes on these soldiers, both seasoned and new recruits. As they face grueling conditions, they also confront the weight of anti-war sentiment and racial prejudices. With an IMDb rating of 6.7 and a Metascore of 64, this 110-minute war drama is definitely worth watching. In The Quiet American, a British journalist in Vietnam finds himself entangled in a love triangle amidst the growing unrest. This film, based on a 1955 novel, explores America's early involvement in Vietnam and sets the stage for the later conflict. Runtime, 120 minutes. Director, Joseph L. Mankiewicz. IMDb rating, 6.8. Metascore, data not available. Number 45. 84C Mo Pic is a mock documentary film directed by Patrick Sheen Duncan. The story follows an army unit on a dangerous reconnaissance mission in the Vietnamese jungle. As the soldiers descend deeper into the war zone, the camera crew captures their experiences and interviews them. Set during the Vietnam War, this 95-minute film offers a unique perspective on the conflict. Breaking news. In Twilight's Last Gleaming, 1977, a rogue Air Force general seizes control of a Montana missile complex, demanding the release of a top-secret document. The document reveals a shocking truth: the U.S. knowingly fought a futile war in Vietnam to foster anti-communist sentiments towards the Soviet Union. Will this revelation lead to World War III? Stay tuned for more updates. In Fandango, directed by Kevin Reynolds, a group of college friends take a road trip across the American West. With the shadow of the Vietnam War and the uncertainty of adulthood hanging over them, they must confront the challenges of growing up. IMDb rating, 6.8. Runtime, 91 minutes. Danger Close, 2019, is a war film directed by Kriv Stenders. It depicts the gripping tale of a group of young soldiers from New Zealand and Australia, based on true events during the Battle of Long Tan. These inexperienced soldiers face a daunting challenge against 2,500 Viet Cong soldiers. With dwindling ammunition and mounting casualties, this film reveals the remarkable story of how courage emerges in the face of unimaginable adversity. The War, 1994, is a thought-provoking film directed by John Avnet. Set in the 1970s, it follows a Vietnam vet who grapples with PTSD upon returning to rural Mississippi. Amidst his struggle to adjust to normal life, he finds solace in a mining job. As he copes with his own trauma, he also supports his children in navigating a neighborhood war. IMDb rating, 6.8. Runtime, 126 minutes. In the film, Heaven and Earth, directed by Oliver Stone, a Vietnamese woman's life is turned upside down by the violence of the Vietnam War. With her village destroyed, she must flee for survival. However, her path takes a surprising turn when she meets a compassionate U.S. Marine. As their bond grows, they both discover the deep scars left by the war. Discover the emotional journey of two individuals brought together in a time of chaos. Film, Dead Presidents, is directed by Albert Hughes and Alan Hughes. It has a user rating of 6.9 on IMDb and no Metascore. The runtime of the movie is 119 minutes. The story revolves around soldier Anthony Curtis, who struggles to readjust to civilian life after serving in Vietnam. In order to support himself and his friends, Curtis joins forces with small-time criminals to carry out a bank heist. In Tigerland, directed by Joel Schumacher, a platoon of young soldiers in training at Fort Polk, Louisiana face the reality of going to war. Amidst their own fears and doubts, an anti-war draftee rises as their leader, inspiring the squad and finding ways to get some of them sent home. This powerful and thought-provoking film explores the complexities of war and the resilience of the human spirit. Director Emilio Estevez's film, The War at Home, 1996, explores the haunting effects of war on a Vietnam veteran named Jeremy. As he returns home to his parents, his family becomes perplexed by his strange and unpredictable behavior. With Thanksgiving nearing, Jeremy's sister realizes his urgent need for professional assistance in coping with his traumatic experiences. IMDb rates this film 7.0/10, and it runs for 123 minutes. In The Boys in Company C, directed by Sidney J. Furie, 5 Marines go from boot camp to combat. They face disillusionment and realize the futility of their fight, witnessing corruption and incompetence. A chance to escape arises when they're offered a way out of combat if they throw a soccer match against a South Vietnamese team. The film has a 7.0 IMDb rating and a Metascore of 62. Runtime is 125 minutes. In the film, The Sapphires, directed by Wayne Blair, a real-life girl group inspired a powerful story. Set in 1968, 4 Indigenous Australian women go to Vietnam to perform for American troops. With their talent and promise, the women face challenges and find love in the midst of a dangerous war. IMDb rating, 7.0, Metascore, 67. Runtime, 103 minutes. The Quiet American, 2002, directed by Philip Noyce, depicts America's involvement in Vietnam during the French Indochina War. A British journalist finds himself entangled in a love triangle with an American CIA agent and a Vietnamese woman. Love clashes with betrayal, drugs, and danger. IMDb, 7.0, Metascore, 84, runtime, 101 minutes. A biographical drama film, Nixon, 1995, directed by Oliver Stone, delves into the life of Richard Nixon, America's 37th president. It covers his early years, college life, and turbulent political career. While he ended Vietnam involvement, his presidency was marred by the infamous Watergate scandal. With a 7.1 IMDb rating and a Metascore of 66, this 192-minute epic provides a comprehensive look into the enigmatic leader's triumphs and controversies. A war film set in Vietnam, Casualties of War, 1989, directed by Brian De Palma, explores the clash between Private Max Erickson and Sergeant Tony Meserve. Meserve's despicable demand to kidnap a Vietnamese woman as his sex slave causes tension within their unit and escalates the hostility in the war. Erickson's refusal to participate isolates him, leading to a gripping and intense narrative. IMDb rating, 7.1, Metascore, 75. Runtime, 113 minutes. In Eastern Condors, Asian POWs are given a chance to redeem themselves by the U.S. after the Vietnam War. Their mission, destroy a secret missile warehouse. But as they face Viet Cong soldiers, betrayal within their own ranks could cost them their lives. A thrilling 93-minute ride. IMDb, 7.2. No Metascore available. Director, Sammo Kambo-hung. In the film, Born on the 4th of July, directed by Oliver Stone, a patriotic teenager joins the Marines and serves in the Vietnam War. However, a tragic incident and his own paralysis lead him to question his beliefs. Returning home, he faces a government that doesn't care and a society divided by anti-war sentiment. Based on a true story, this movie portrays Ron Kovac's transformation from a soldier to a vocal critic of the war and an advocate for human rights. With a positive IMDb rating of 7.2 and a Metascore of 75, this 145-minute film is a powerful exploration of a veteran's journey. We Were Soldiers, 2002, directed by Randall Wallace, is an intense war film. Based on a true story, it portrays the first major battle between North Vietnam and the United States. With an IMDb rating of 7.2 and Metascore of 65, this 138-minute movie brings to life the Battle of Ia Drang. It showcases the bravery and sacrifices of soldiers on both sides, shedding light on the hardships faced by soldiers and their families during the Vietnam War. Medium Cool, 1969, is a 111-minute film directed by Haskell Wexler. It follows a news cameraman trying to remain unbiased amidst growing Vietnam War tensions. However, everything changes when he covers the chaotic 1968 Democratic National Convention. Learning about his network's collaboration with the FBI, he decides to fight against the establishment. IMDb rating, 7.3, Metascore, 87. A young man's dreams are shattered when he is sent to Vietnam. Despite losing his hearing, he finds a talent for motivational speaking, becoming an advocate for people with disabilities. Music Within is a captivating film directed by Steven Sawalik, with an IMDb rating of 7.3 and a Metascore of 53. Its runtime is 94 minutes. In the 1978 film, Coming Home, directed by Hal Ashby, Sally Hyde, while her husband is in Vietnam, volunteers at a veterans hospital. She befriends Luke, a disillusioned veteran in a wheelchair, and they fall in love. With different views on the war, Sally finds herself torn between two men. IMDb rates it July 3, 10. Runtime is 127 minutes. Metascore is 61. Birdie, directed by Alan Parker, is a captivating story about two veterans grappling with the aftermath of the Vietnam War. One of them becomes engulfed in psychosis, believing he is a bird. As he resides in a mental hospital, his childhood friend, also a veteran, visits daily, attempting to lend support. With a runtime of 120 minutes, this film delves into the struggles of these individuals and the search for an effective treatment. IMDb users rated July 3, 10. Metascore gives it a score of 71. Dennis Hopper's iconic film Easy Rider follows two hippies on a motorcycle journey across America during the Vietnam era. This counterculture classic captures the spirit of the time, highlighting the clash between the peace-seeking protagonists and the narrow-mindedness of small-town America. With a runtime of 95 minutes, it's a must-watch for those interested in the era's social and cultural influences. IMDb rates it July 3, 10, and it holds a Metascore of 85. American pilot shot down in Vietnam War, becomes prisoner in Laos. Tortured, malnourished and struggling for survival, he plans escape with fellow prisoners but faces challenges in the rainforest. Based on true story. Werner Herzog directs. #RescueDawn. Julie Taymor's Across the Universe, 2007, is a musical spectacle set in the 1960s, featuring the iconic music of the Beatles. A British dockworker embarks on a journey to find his father in America, befriending a college student and his sister along the way. As the world faces political turmoil, these characters become entangled in the anti-war movement and the harsh reality of being drafted. IMDb rating, 7.3, Metascore, 56, runtime, 133 minutes. In Good Morning, Vietnam, Adrian Cronauer brings laughs to soldiers in Vietnam as a radio jockey. But his humor clashes with his strict superior, who tries to censor him. Amidst it all, Cronauer finds love with a Vietnamese woman. Director Barry Levinson delivers a 7.3 IMDb rating and 67 Metascore in this 121-minute film. In the film, The Beautiful Country, directed by Hans Petter Molland, a Vietnamese boy named Binh embarks on a perilous journey to the United States after reuniting with his mother in Saigon. After accidentally getting involved in a crime, Binh escapes with his brother and seeks his American father in Texas, who met his mother during the Vietnam War. This poignant 125-minute movie has an IMDb user rating of 7.4 and a Metascore of 64. Dogfight, 1991, directed by Nancy Savoca, is a captivating 94-minute drama. Set in 1963, 18-year-old Eddie Birdlace, about to be deployed to Vietnam, enjoys a final night of revelry with his friends in San Francisco. They take part in a controversial dogfight competition where Marines bring less attractive girls to be judged. Unexpectedly, Eddie develops feelings for his shy date, challenging the norms of the event. With a solid IMDb rating of 7.4, this thought-provoking film is definitely worth a watch. Emile de Antonio's In the Year of the Pig is a powerful and condemning documentary on the Vietnam War. It delves into the origins of the conflict, tracing it back to French colonialism and exploring American involvement from the 1950s. With a rating of 7.5 on IMDb, this film delivers a scathing critique of the war using archival footage and interviews. In Jacob's Ladder, a Vietnam veteran battles with his sanity, haunted by disturbing visions and memories of the war. As his loved ones struggle to help, he spirals deeper into madness. This psychological horror film explores the devastating effects of post-traumatic stress disorder. Director Adrian Lyne crafts a gripping and unsettling portrayal of one man's descent into darkness. Rated 7.5 on IMDb and 62 on Metascore, Jacob's Ladder runs for 113 minutes. In Swimming to Cambodia, Spalding Gray's one-man show comes to life on screen as he shares his experiences in The Killing Fields. This gripping film explores the impact of the Vietnam War on Cambodia, delving into the civil war that unfolded there. Directed by Jonathan Demme, this highly rated production takes viewers on an 85-minute journey through history. Summary: Last Days in Vietnam, 2014, is a documentary directed by Rory Kennedy, with an IMDb user rating of 7.6 and a Metascore of 86. The film portrays the closing days of the Vietnam War, highlighting the dilemma faced by American soldiers: follow White House orders and evacuate only Americans, or aid the South Vietnamese trapped in Saigon. Operation Frequent Wind, the evacuation mission, is explored through interviews with American diplomats and government officials. Runtime is 98 minutes. Three friends from Hong Kong go to Saigon to start a life of crime but are captured and sent to a prison camp during the Vietnam War. Their experience at the camp tests their friendship and changes their lives. 251 characters. Hair, directed by Milos Forman, is a comedy-drama musical adapted from a 1968 Broadway show. The story revolves around Claude, a Vietnam War draftee, who forms a bond with a group of hippies in New York City. Unexpectedly, he falls in love with a local woman, and his friends attempt to keep their relationship alive. With a runtime of 121 minutes, this film received a user rating of 7.6 on IMDb and a Metascore of 68. A family on the run from authorities after sabotaging a government lab during the Vietnam War. Their son, Danny, torn between loyalty and wanting a normal life. Will he have to leave his family behind? Running on Empty is a gripping 1988 film by Sidney Lumet. IMDb rating, 7.7. Metascore, 67. Runtime, 116 minutes. Rambo, a troubled veteran, seeks solace in a small town but faces relentless harassment by the sheriff. Pushed to his limit, Rambo unleashes his war-trained skills in a cat-and-mouse chase with the police. As he becomes a fugitive, Rambo must utilize his survival instincts to outsmart the pursuing authorities. In The Killing Fields, a journalist and his interpreter forge a friendship in war-torn Cambodia during the Khmer Rouge regime. As violence escalates and the journalist plans to flee, his loyal interpreter chooses to stay and document the story, putting his own life at risk. Witness their heart-wrenching journey in this gripping film. 141 minutes of powerful storytelling awaits you. In the movie, American Gangster, directed by Ridley Scott, we witness the gripping story of Frank Lucas, a notorious drug lord. Set in 1970s America, during the Vietnam War, Lucas rises to power as Harlem's top heroin importer. Using clever tactics such as buying directly from Thailand, he successfully smuggles drugs with the help of returning servicemen. However, a determined cop is devoted to bringing him down. This biodrama captures the thrilling journey of Lucas's reign and the pursuit of justice. IMDb rating, 7.8. Metascore, 76. Runtime, 157 minutes. Documentary film Little Dieter Needs to Fly, directed by Werner Herzog, explores the remarkable story of Dieter Dengler, a German-American pilot who was shot down and imprisoned in Laos. As Dengler and Herzog revisit the location where Dengler was held captive, they recount the harrowing details of his escape, even reenacting the intense and graphic moments. With a runtime of 80 minutes, this documentary delves into Dengler's extraordinary journey and his determination to fly again. The documentary, Hearts of Darkness, A Filmmaker's Apocalypse, delves into the troubled production of Francis Ford Coppola's iconic Vietnam War film, Apocalypse Now. It combines archival footage, interviews, and hidden audio recordings by Eleanor Coppola to uncover the numerous challenges faced. From bad weather and casting issues to health problems and the ongoing war in the Philippines, this behind-the-scenes look reveals the incredible hardships that the film overcame, making it a truly remarkable achievement. 3 friends from rural Pennsylvania enlist in Vietnam War after a hunting trip and joyous wedding. High hopes shattered as they face the true horrors of war. Returning home, forever scarred, they are changed men. The Deer Hunter, 1978, directed by Michael Cimino, IMDb rating, 8.1, Metascore, 86, runtime, 183 minutes. Platoon, 1986, directed by Oliver Stone, is a gripping war film with an IMDb user rating of 8.1 and a Metascore of 92. Set in 1967, the movie follows Chris Taylor, a college student who enlists in Vietnam combat duty. However, his expectations of heroism quickly crumble as he confronts the harsh realities of war. Internal conflicts among military leaders further exacerbate tensions among the soldiers, exposing Chris to the brutality and dual nature of mankind. This intense and thought-provoking film runs for 120 minutes. Hearts and Minds, 1974, is a powerful anti-war documentary directed by Peter Davis. This film sheds light on the Vietnam War by showcasing interviews with military figures and depicting the shocking violence and brutality of the conflict. The title, derived from a quote by President Lyndon Johnson, adds irony to the narrative as it questions his belief that victory in Vietnam relied on winning the hearts and minds of the people. Director Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, 1987, portrays the experiences of Private Davis and Private Lawrence during their intense basic training for the Vietnam War. They face a harsh drill instructor, Hartman. Despite graduating as a journalist, Davis gets deployed to Vietnam, where he witnesses and reports on the brutal Battle of Hue. This compelling film has an IMDb rating of 8.3 and a Metascore of 76, with a runtime of 116 minutes. Apocalypse Now, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, is a critically acclaimed film based on Heart of Darkness. Captain Willard embarks on a mission to find a deranged army officer in the midst of the brutal Vietnam War. As he delves deeper, he loses touch with his own humanity, teetering on the edge of insanity. IMDb rating, 8.4, Metascore, 94. Runtime, 147 minutes. Forrest Gump, a slow-witted country boy, takes us on an amazing journey through his extraordinary life, from childhood to adulthood. Along the way, he becomes a part of significant historical events, including the Vietnam War. Enlisting in the army after college, he forms a deep bond with fellow soldier Bubba, and together they face the horrors of combat. This chance friendship alters Forrest's life forever.